So last night, fam, I dreamt of being abducted by an alien. I know. I know. I know. It's crazy. It's amazing, right? You don't know how long I've dreamt of this. I'm not one of those people where I need to be abducted in order to believe it because I've always believed it, right? I was just waiting to receive it. I'm like, what's up, fam? I'm ready for our reunion. I'm ready for the reunion, right? And so in the dream, I got picked up. And it was so strange because I remember in the dream, I was like, am I dreaming? That's what I said to the girl because the alien looked just like us. Message. Right? And I was like, am I dreaming? Because it felt so real. And I remember in the dream, I was like, no, this is not a dream. But it was a dream. But that lets you know how real it felt. And so it was so interesting because I remember they had like this technology where the best way I can explain it is there was this antenna looking thing that they had, and it turned into a spaceship. So you could like hold it. It was like, yeah, that's the best way I can explain it. Like a little antenna looking thing or a triangle. So like an upside down antenna. And basically it would just turn into a spaceship whenever they like pushed a button. Because I remember we were in a restaurant or something like that at some point in the dream, and it was a regular like little antenna box, and I was trying to tell people about it. But yeah, they picked me up, we flew away. So I was flying in the dream in this spaceship, and I was so excited. I mean, we didn't go to outer space. We was flying around on Earth. Like we was flying to different places. And I remember I was just looking down. I was seeing houses and I was seeing land and all this different stuff like that. Now, the energy of the dream was very like, I already know you. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't afraid. I wasn't, I guess because one reason is they look like us. So what I heard is, they're gonna kind of, so they said they have to kind of ease me into it. So maybe that's why they appeared as a human like form. But I remember there was this guy and he was really like silly and kind of goofy like. And there was also a girl. I remember her having blonde hair. Okay, she was a Caucasian. But once again, it was just a very chill vibe. They picked me up. It's like we were stopping at places. You know what I'm saying? You know how you go out with your cousin on the weekend, y'all going shopping, y'all stopping at a few restaurants, maybe getting your nails done. It was that type of vibe. We was just chilling. Okay? And there's some parts of the dream that I don't quite remember. And I'm hearing maybe that's for my subconscious. Because sometimes your subconscious will block certain information, okay, until you're ready to fully receive it, okay? So if you're not ready to perceive certain things, or if your subconscious knows you can't handle certain things, it will block those things out. And that's why some people, they get hypnotized, because these hypnotists, they can tap into that subconscious, right? And they can access certain information that your subconscious has stamped as off limits, right? And once again, it's to protect you, okay? Your subconscious is always working in the background, which is why we always talk about reprogramming your thoughts and feeding yourself positive thoughts, because your subconscious is always listening and it's always creating your reality. But anyway, like I said, just to stay on topic, I was so excited when I woke up. I was like, oh my God. I had my first real alien encounter because, I mean, it was so real. We was in that spaceship. And they just came to pick me up. And I remember it's like nobody else was aware. And I think in the dream, I was even trying to convince some people or tell them like what happened. But I was like the only one that knew what was going on. And then with the spaceship, like I said, it was kind of like a gadget. So it wouldn't really work around other people. right? Because I remember I was like showing other people, but it wouldn't turn into a spaceship. It would only do it at certain times. But anyway, what I heard was it's because of the frequency and the vibration that I'm tapping into. You see, a lot of people, they wonder why we don't have these, and it's 11:11 on the clock right now, literally. They wonder why we don't have these encounters. It's because the frequency and the density here on Earth is so low. But yesterday, if you saw the video I posted, it was talking about unconditional love. That is the vibration that you're going to have to be in order to have these consistent encounters, is what I'm hearing. Because if you're in the energy of fear and doubt and worry, they ain't trying to have that rub off on them. You know what I'm saying? They're not really going to come to you like that. But the more that you raise your vibration, the more that you guys are in alignment, because I'm hearing they will speak to you telepathically. They will speak to you energetically. And there's certain messages. So they're saying that is the purpose for them coming. It's not just to show off or anything like that. They're coming so that you can usher in a new energy, is what I'm hearing, into this world, into this planet. And that is the energy of love. That's what you've been working towards, is Christ consciousness and law of oneness. So the more that you remove all of this dogma and all of these limiting beliefs, all of this fear, right? Fear of aliens, fear of energies, right? Even when we talk about darkness, you know, they've taught a lot of us to fear so many things. Fearing ghosts, fearing demons, and all of this other stuff. That fear is what's keeping you separated. It's keeping you separated. So they demonize things to make you afraid of it. The same way they do with aliens, right? They show you the grays all the time, and then they give you this eerie music and all of this stuff to make you afraid of them, when they're some of the most beautiful and kind and loving beings. Now, is there duality? Yeah, some of them, you know, have gone to the dark side, right? But so have we. So how does that make us any different, right? We have human beings that are serial killers and all this stuff like that, but yet you demonize these other beings and energies. No. We're all God. We're all God. So you have to become neutral, and that neutrality is what's going to energetically invite them into your orbit, into your auric field, is what I'm hearing. Because you're in alignment. So you are going through a heart chakra awakening. That's why I wore the green today. So prepare. Open up your heart to receive love from everyone and everything, from life, from animals, okay? From your body, from your thoughts. See everything as love and loving you and lovable. And then you will begin to fully operate in this energy of love. If you talk about Christ, which is the Christ consciousness, this is the completion of just loving everything and getting rid of duality.